This is George Orwell. He was a pretty average guy. British, human, you know, the normal things. Except he was also a super duper anti-communist writer dude who predicted the Cold War, fought in a civil war that wasn't even in his own country, and wrote a bunch of books that a lot of people seem to really like. All while also not liking the capitalist messages of America. So Orwell's life started out pretty normally, with birth, as a baby, to an English family, in the middle of India. Yep, he started out in India, except he didn't stay there long since his parents were like, nah, we should probably raise him in England so we can be really English. Unfortunately, Orwell wasn't English enough for the English, probably didn't have a large enough top hat, and he got bullied. A lot. In fact, he wrote a book about how much he hated this childhood called Such Were the Joys, or in his case, Not Joys. But old George decided that he didn't need to be popular because he was kind of smart and could write pretty well. He was one of those people. By age 11, he could write really well and had his work, Awake Young Men of England, published. Being good at all this academic stuff eventually paid off for him when he got accepted to the very British-sounding college of Eton. But things didn't go so well for him there, and he started failing, and his family couldn't pay for his tuition because they were kind of poor, so he had to drop out. Once he dropped out, Orwell decided to become a policeman in the magical, wondrous land of India. See, up to this point, Orwell had been the perfect British citizen, and people in India hated him for that. And Orwell was like, I totally understand why you guys hate me. This whole imperialism thing really sucks. Y'all are all pretty cool, and we're kind of being jerks. So Orwell quit being a policeman in India and decided to be a hobo in Europe. At this point, he was pretty much a hipster, deliberately living a low standard of life so that he could better understand what the oppressed people of the world felt like. He chilled like this for about 5 years until he wrote his first well-known book, The Road to Wigan Pier, which kinda marked the start of his whole anti-communist writing thing. But in 1937, there was war in Spain. Somebody probably interrupted their afternoon siesta or something. And Orwell was like, ooh, I should totally go fight in this war that's not happening in my country because I hate fascists more than I hate communists. So he went off to fight in the Spanish Civil War against the nationalists. Things went pretty well for him. He was fighting fascists, supporting his beliefs, until he got shot in the neck by a dang commie. The irony was strong, and Orwell was like, I totally remember why I don't like those guys. You know, in between trying not to die from the hole in his neck. By the time World War II came around, Orwell was all good, but not good enough to join the military. So, he went back to India. He really had a thing for that place. Once he got back down there, he started working for the most British of British companies, the British Broadcasting Company. But he hated it, so he quit. Again. And went back to England. Again. Except this time, there was war going on. Oh, and by this point he'd gotten married, so congrats to him. But the Germans were like, nah, screw you, and dropped a bomb on his house. Then, to top it all off, 2 years later, his wife died. So the 40s really, really sucked for Orwell. Luckily for us, Orwell also started writing some of his best books, like Animal Farm. Then, after World War II ended, Orwell channeled his inner Nostradamus and totally predicted the Cold War in his essay, You and the Atomic Bomb. But, apparently, life hated Orwell, and he got diagnosed with tuberculosis, so he was gonna die. So Orwell was like, alright, I'm gonna write one more book, and it's gonna totally rip the communists, because what they got going on kinda sucks. And he began writing 1984. 1984 was a not-so-subtle allegory for Stalin and the Soviet Union, and Orwell made it seem like that whole system really sucked. But the book was really good, because Orwell was a pretty good writer. He brilliantly warned against oppressing the individual and letting an authoritarian regime rule the lives of its citizens. This was especially important, since that was pretty much happening across the world, with the Cold War and all that. But, in 1950, the tuberculosis finally got George Orwell, and he died